Hey, welcome in. Well, Neil Young, I guess you better be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And here's the headline. Just in, Spotify to pull Neil Young music after ultimatum letter demanding Rogan be removed. And Neil Young, of course, is just outraged that Joe Rogan should have the freedom to have conversations that millions and millions and millions of people want to hear. Conversations with people like Robert Malone about a certain virus and certain health measures. And these are conversations that I'm sure Neil Young heard were bad conversations by people like Don Lemon. And he's not going to stand for that. So he demanded that his music be taken down from Spotify. And here's what he said in his letter. I want you to let Spotify know immediately, today, that I want all my music off their platform. They can have Joe Rogan or Young, not both. Well, they made their choice. And the choice wasn't Young. They said, okay, see ya. And why would they have done that? The Wall Street Journal reported, quote, Spotify technology is in the process of removing Neil Young's music, according to people familiar with the matter, as the folk rock star isn't wavering in his objections to Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, apparently Young had deleted this message from his management team, the one demanding it's either him or Joe. But it doesn't seem to have mattered because Spotify said, okay, sure, whatever. We didn't even know you were on here, to be honest. But why would they do that? I mean, why would they keep Joe Rogan over Neil Young? Well, let's see. Let's take a look at downloads for Neil Young, the top 5. Heart of Gold, 235 million. That's a lot. Harvest Moon, 163 million. Old Man, 133 million. My, Hey, Hey, 102 million. Rockin' in the Free World, 73 million. Well, that's pretty good. What about Joe Rogan? Now, a couple of sources here say Joe Rogan has between 200 million people listening monthly. Here's another one, 190 million downloads each month. So I guess they get to choose between, I mean, these are Neil Young's top 5 songs. Joe Rogan's doing 200 million every month. Every month. And by the way, Neil Young sold half his catalog last year anyway. And you know it was the good half, right? You know that the investors wanted the good half of the songs. And out of the good half, it's only probably around like 10 songs that are regularly on the radio anyway, right? But in any case, this didn't work out apparently quite as Neil Young had hoped. And here's the thing. And I hate to break this to Neil Young. And after all of the mountains and mountains of weed he smoked over his life, I'm not sure he'd understand it anyway. But if you're talking about relevancy these days, you're not talking about Neil Young. The vast majority of young people have absolutely no idea who he is. And although he's written a handful of absolutely classic songs, well, I'm afraid there's just more important things going on these days. And there's important conversations, the kinds of conversations that you get on the Joe Rogan podcast. I mean, doubtless Neil Young is furious that he had Robert Malone on there. Well, guess what? There are millions and millions and millions of people that are interested in what one of the creators of the mRNA technology thinks. That's really relevant to today. It's not just that, he has an eclectic group of people talking about pretty much everything, depending on the day. And talking about things that people care about, people are interested in. And they're not going to get it on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. And a podcast like Joe Rogan's isn't limited by the law of concision in broadcasting. He can talk for 2 hours, 3 hours, doesn't matter. And people want to watch that. And they don't want to be denied that because, you know, if they're under 30, Neil Young is just some burnout that they've never heard of. Just some burnout with an inflated sense of self-importance. And here's the thing I've learned about music, right? If there's a band that you love or a singer that you love or songwriter, don't ever pay attention to anything they say outside of their music. Don't, because you're going to be disappointed. It turns out, even though they can write beautiful music, they may still be imbeciles. Just because they can write a catchy 3-minute song with the veneer of wisdom on it, or depth, it doesn't mean they actually know anything about the real world, or how the real world works. And furthermore, he was from the generation that was supposed to be about, you know, freedom and free speech and all of that. Well, not so much anymore. I mean, maybe he can write a song about censorship and how much he loves it now. In fact, he probably will. Only nobody will hear it, not because it won't be on Spotify. but because nobody cares. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.